We all come to pray, going back for warriors, keeping the whispers away. In suits and in skirts, we're the rebels you say, talking about life and dreaming of a different day. On the back row we stay, in the back we don't sway, just let the sermon flow. We're on the back row.
It is time for another episode of The Cultural Hall, the news wizard Verlin and me, Richie T. 15 years, let's go. I felt like
Good morning. Has it been 15
yesterday.
years that I've been
Oh my
doing this
gosh.
with you? Have I
No,
been doing this
no,
for 15
no,
years?
No, does it feel like it? Does it feel like it though?
It feels like about a year.
Has it been a year? I don't
I
even
think
know.
it's almost exact. Well, maybe a little bit longer, maybe 16 months, something like that.
Let me ask you something. You're old.
Thank you.
I'm just teasing. 100% joking. And the funny thing is, I say that and then I go, I actually don't remember how old you are because you tell me every time I give you a hard time. And
And
then
my birthday was just
Oh,
a
yeah.
couple weeks ago. Come on.
Are you a Gemini?
Yes,
Okay, so am I. That is why we are friends.
that's exactly right.
Yeah, yeah. What was I? Oh, the passage of time. That's what I was
Yes.
going to get at. The passage of time is a wild thing to me.
It is. It is. Things speed up and things slow down.
Yeah, and how old people are. I met someone the other day. This is an odd thing. People who have kids, no matter what, are older than me because, I don't have my own
You don't have
biological
kids.
children.
Yeah.
And so I automatically assume that people are older than me and I offended someone. Not really, but I could tell they were sort of bothered that I thought that they were older than them because they're 25. And I was like, well, sure. I mean, but you're older than me, so what? You've got to be like 40. And she's like, bite your tongue. And I was like, I don't know. You have kids, there's different things, then you start to feel. Did you have
Well,
a
the
good-
way I gauge it is I look at the missionaries on Sunday
Okay.
and try to guess how old they are. And the younger they appear to be, then the older I know I am.
Well, okay. Okay. Except
They-
that now single, but that's going to trick you.
Oh, that's right.
There's going to
That's
be a
right.
part where that flips over and then you're going to,
We're going to see
that
these
40-year-old
single brothers out there. You're
Yeah,
right.
that 40-year-old
I'm
young
interested
buck
to
is
see
gonna
my
trick
first
you.
single brother in the wild,
he'll get there. In the wild, jeez. In the not so
in the
wild,
mission field.
in the
Yeah.
mission field. For your birthday, did you do anything fun? What'd you do?
We were actually in New Mexico with my family for my
Okay.
birthday. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I was in Idaho with my sister and then went to New Mexico shortly after. So
Okay.
yeah, we had fun. Yeah,
Do
it
you
was a good
still
time.
celebrate when you're as old as you are?
Not so much. Not so much.
I hate.
I had big plans, but they didn't work out. We'll take care of those plans some other time. Maybe I'll invite you to participate in that plan with me.
What is the plan? What's the plan?
Well, it's an activity actually that I've heard and seen done in Utah as well. That would be great. I'm planning on jumping out of an airplane sometime soon.
Shut up.
Yeah,
You ever done it?
never, and I really, really, really want to.
Yeah. You think that. And
I
then
do.
You think that and then you get in the plane and then you go, this was
Once I'm up there, then there's no going back.
Well, yes.
I'm not gonna let that plane land without me jumping out. There's no
Oh, they
way.
don't let you either. And you're strapped to someone, and so they go, well,
Exactly.
we're doing this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, you were going to do it over Idaho?
I was gonna do it over Idaho or New Mexico or North Carolina, but
Sure.
next time I'm in Utah, we can make it happen if you're
Yeah.
up for it.
Oof. I've done it a couple times.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
The last time I did it, I didn't love it. I was super sick, and I had to do it for work
Oh,
because it was
Oh.
like this whole thing. It was back when I worked at the radio station, and I had to do it. And they're like, "Oh yeah, we're all coming to Moab. That's where we did it." And by the way, that's a place to do it. It's gorgeous as you're falling
okay.
to your
Nice.
maybe death. Uh,
Were you conscious the whole time? People
Yeah,
keep
I was
telling me I'm gonna
conscious. I was
forget the first
conscious.
time. I'm like, no, I'm not.
no, I was conscious the whole time. I screamed the whole time, which they loved. All of the things that they love that you do. But I don't know what I had. Not like the flu. I didn't vomit or anything like that. But I had been so sick the days leading up to it that I just was
Oh,
like, I got to go do this, and then
Oh,
I got
that's
to ride a
terrible.
train. Why do I have to do this? I hate this job. So
Ugh.
I'm strapped onto someone, and I'm just like "Brr," in the plane, and they're like, "You ready to go?" And I'm like, "Fine,
Whatever.
let's go." Ah.
Uh, well,
It's fun though.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah, you
Yep.
should.
Yep.
I'm surprised.
I
I was
won't out
surprised.
anybody in particular, but I have a certain daughter who said she would do it with me, who is now saying she will not do it with me.
Oh, well, because she
Um,
cares about her life. Does she have other
I
things
guess
in her
so.
life that she cares about now?
My sister says that she will do it with me. What my wife, who we've talked about before, who's wonderful, says there is no way in any circumstance she would ever do it with me.
But you know she's going to be mad as heck if you die.
That's true. But I'm worth
Why
more
did you have to
dead than
do that?
alive still. I'm still worth more dead than alive. So I'm not
Yeah.
sure that'll be the case, really.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So instead of what jumping out of a plane, you had cake. What'd you do? What'd
Yep,
you do?
we had a little bit of cake and that was about it. Some ice cream,
Yeah.
exchanged a few gifts.
I hate birthdays.
I am not a big fan. Birthdays were not a big deal in my home growing up. I remember like four great birthdays in my life,
Hmm.
and those were great, but otherwise, not really.
My parents forgot my birthday one year when I turned 13.
Nice.
They
Oh, and
were
that's the perfect time to
yeah,
forget a birthday
yeah,
because you don't care at all by then,
yeah.
right?
Oh no, you're fine. You're hardened to the world. Uh
In the middle of adolescence and all those hormones running around, and they forget your birthday.
yeah, they were in the midst of a divorce. Another thing, that was my gift.
Oh,
I got the divorce for my birthday. Not
oh,
quite.
yeah.
But they completely forgot it to the point that like I thought because I'm the guy that, yeah, I like a joke and people know they can make a joke with me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so it was one of these things where it's like you wake up and I had other birthdays where it's like, "Hey, it's your birthday. We made your birthday breakfast." And I woke up and no one cared. And I was like, "Oh, okay.
Now I see
I
what they're
see what's
doing.
going on here. Ah, we're playing the old trick on me, right?" And, it's summertime, so I'm out playing with friends or whatever, and I'm like, "All right, I'm just gonna go play." And then when I
I'm just
come home,
rolling with it.
everyone's gonna be there, and that's gonna be the trick. That's gonna be the birthday, right? And I roll home, and nope, no one was home when I came home for lunch. And then I started to be like, "Okay, man, they are really good. They are starting to make me believe it." They have tripled, quadrupled down on this whole, you know, this bit. Because my grandparents would always come over, and I was like, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And the
okay,
grandparents wouldn't forget.
yeah, yeah. Well, they did too. Grandparents, they're gonna be there for dinner. We're gonna do a barbecue. That's when it's gonna be, and it gets to be, I don't know, 5, 6, or 7 at night. And I just, it's one of those things where like everyone's sitting around and it's like, "Oh, how's your day? Your day was good. Good for you." And I just was like, "Did everyone forget my birthday?" Just out of nowhere, just, exclamatory.
Nice. And what was their reaction?
And my mom lost about all color in her face and was like, and I go, "You did. You did forget my birthday." And in my 13-year-old way, I probably was like, "I thought you were joking, and now none of you even care." Blah. The worst. The worst.
Oh,
But
well,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say,
Did
but
you make them pay? Did you make them pay? Did
well,
they?
I have told that story both publicly and privately so many times that yeah, I suppose
You kind of
I
have.
have made
Okay.
them pay at this point. But yeah, it would but I don't know if that's the whole reason why I hate birthdays, but like the other side of it is a couple years ago, right? So this is oh what, 5 years ago now. I was like, "You know what I'm going to do? I had this horrible history of a birthday in my past. I'm going to throw a big one. It's a big birthday. I'm going to, I want to do it. We're going to do it big. We're going to do the big party for the big birthday and everyone will come and even people that I don't know." I was doing the show at that point. I was going to be like, "I'll invite anyone who listens to the show to come out. Just literally anyone. We'll have a big old party."
Yeah.
COVID. So
Oh.
listen, it's over. I don't care. I would like people to forget. I did a thing last year that I'm going to do a thing this year again. I've got to figure something ridiculous that I would like to purchase, and then
Right.
I'm going to ask people to give me like a dollar.
Contribute.
Yeah, a dollar or two. Last year, I
Yeah.
think I did $2.12, and so many people gave me $2.12 on Venmo that I'm going to find something ridiculous like that again. And
Ah, nice.
I bought this gorgeous. In fact, I'll grab it and I'll wear it for the first part of the second half of Articles of News. I bought a gorgeous, large top hat.
Beautiful.
It's not beaver fur, but it's fancy, and it was more than you
And
should
it's real.
spend on it. Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
real.
nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, it's more than you should spend on it. So
So I have a
great.
birthday not so different from yours, but completely different in another way.
Tell me.
So I think it was one of my birthdays in my mid to late 30s. It was, not a big birthday. And
Hey, well, hold on. I'm proud of you for remembering this. Go on.
thank you. Well, my, addled brain may be
Yeah.
remembering it differently than it really was.
And to be clear, everyone, Verlin's not old. It's just a thing that for some reason today I'm really leaning into. Go on.
Hey, I'm just experienced. That's the way I look at it.
But
So
even at that experience, anyway, go on.
at the time, I was traveling a lot for business, probably close to 50% of the time I was traveling for business. And I had to go to a conference, and the conference started on a Sunday night. So I had to travel Sunday morning from East Coast to West Coast. It was in LA, and it happened to fall on my birthday on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, well, certainly when I get up in the morning and get ready to go, the family's going to say happy birthday and wish me happy birthday before I leave for the airport.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Oof.
My wife drives me to the airport, doesn't say a word.
And do you do the thing that I do, which is you like if people don't do it right out the gate, you just sort of keep it to yourself and sort of loathe
I
everyone.
start seething a little
Yes.
bit.
Yes.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly. So I'm riding to the airport thinking, well, she's going to wish me happy birthday and I'll get a kiss goodbye. She pulls up in front of the terminal and see you later.
Good for you, Susan. Good for you.
I hop out and I get into the terminal, I check in, and of course I get to the gate and the flight's delayed.
Oh,
I'm like, great. Number one, no one cares it's my birthday and my family. Number two, the flight's delayed. I've done that plenty of times, but still I can seethe over that too.
yeah.
So I get to I'm sure I was flying through Chicago or something like that. Second flight was delayed. From Chicago, I'm sitting there and I go, well, I'm going to call Susan. It's a Sunday, church should be over now. I'll give her a call. Give her a call. One of my children answers the phone. I think he was probably, I don't know how old at this time, probably 6, 7, 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Nate, is your mom around? She's not available right now. What? She's in the bathroom. Is she okay? Oh, yeah. Just blank. I'm like, well, how are you guys doing? We're fine. See you later. Click. He hangs up on me. I'm like, my family is completely forgot. Flights are going terrible. I hate this.
Mm-hmm.
Second flight, I get to LA, get to the hotel, get to the check-in. It's the same hotel where the conference is being held. I've been to this conference multiple times before. Get up to check-in. Mr. Yao, we don't seem to have a reservation for you.
Oh no.
I'm like, this is back in the days where you had secretaries. I swear, my secretary had to have made a reservation. Well, we're not seeing it, but you're a Diamond member, so we can make a reservation for you.
Mm-hmm.
So they go through all the rigmarole to make a reservation. By this time, I'm just not happy. I've been flying for 10 hours. Nothing's gone right. It's my birthday. No one said a freaking thing. And so I'm fine. They hand me the keys. You're on the 12th floor. Okay. Go up to the 12th floor, schlepping my luggage along. Put the key in the door. It's the old ones where you had to slide it in and pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
Pull the key out, open the door, and someone else's luggage is sitting in my room.
No.
I'm like, how bad could this be? And as I'm closing the door again, thinking I've got to go back down, I've got to check in again, all of a sudden in my mind, it clicks. I recognize that luggage.
What?
Literally, the door closes. I have to put the key back in. I open the door and I hear in my wife's lovely voice, "Happy birthday."
Oh, boo.
She had dropped me off at the airport, had driven around the airport, and a friend had handed her a bag she had already packed. She hopped on a different airline and got to Los Angeles before I did, She checked in. She told the hotel to tell me there were problems with the reservation.
I love this story.
But Susan was there. It was very exciting. It was like going from ultimate grief to kind of total relief all in
Yeah.
the same moment. It was a very strange feeling.
Well, I just want you to remember that grief and know that I carry it now, these 30 years later.
Good. I'm glad
Yeah.
I'm glad that you get over things quickly.
I don't have a Susan. There was no Susan reparations. I thought for sure what you were going to say is that the only person that wished you happy birthday was, ladies and gentlemen, where is your captain speaking? Looked over the flight manifest today. Verlin Yao, yep.
Yo,
Verlin?
Verlan.
Is this a name? Verlin? Is this a name? Verlin? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Verlin, happy birthday. I'll be the only one wishing you a happy birthday today, and please keep your seat upright. No resting for you. We'll get you in Los Angeles later. Yeah.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
Good for her. Good for
Yeah,
you.
no,
Good.
it was a big surprise. It was great.
That's
One of
the
the four
sweetest.
birthdays I've really enjoyed in my life.
Well, I don't have time to ask you about the other three, but know that I'm a good interviewer and want to know about the other
Surprise party,
three. Okay.
and then for some reason, why am I forgetting the last one? The last one. I was 8 years old, and I got a new baseball, a
Okay.
new glove, and a new bat, all in one birthday. And when I was 8 years old.
In the off chance that my wife listens to this, she did get my family for that big birthday that I was going to have a big party.
Mm-hmm.
We all sat several feet away from each other in my old backyard.
In the driveway.
Yeah. Everyone bring your own food, and we can't really be near each other. Happy birthday. It was the sweetest thing that could be done for that birthday. So
Oh, that's very nice.
let
That's
it not
very
be
nice.
for naught, but not the thing.
So let's throw a big one.
Oh, listen, we're going to, I don't know.
It was a year of doing the things, and we
I've-
just lost the opportunity.
I just finished a thing. I just finished my running challenge for
I
the year.
know. That's crazy.
603 miles. I did it by the 7th of June.
How did you pick 603 miles, by the way?
I put it out on Facebook and I said, for every like, I'll do this. For every comment, I'll do this. And then 603.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's a
Thank
huge
you.
achievement.
Yeah. Well, now I'm going to start hiking more. I'm going to hike peaks and get patches like we talked about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
My wife and I have done some cool things
Peak
around that.
patches, national park patches. I have a friend doing that. In fact, that reminds me, outside of the show, I need to talk to you. I have a gig for you.
Oh,
A
okay.
wedding.
All right,
wedding
let's
that
go.
needs
Let's
a
go.
DJ, man.
I also I didn't know this until the other day. This is sort of Mormon adjacent. The kids in Provo, they used to go to the Squaw Peak to go and make out.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, it's not called Squaw Peak anymore.
What's it called now?
Oh,
I guess that's politically incorrect.
Yeah, I didn't, and it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's called Kiev Mountain.
Really?
KYHV. I saw it on this list of I saw it on this list of things because I mean it makes sense. Like you'd never be like, oh, that squaw. In fact, maybe we're being incredibly racially insensitive to even say it that week. But like many other things, sometimes you hear the word and you say it for the thing and you don't associate it with the thing, and then you go, oh, at squaw. Oh no, we are not saying that anymore. But I saw this peak, Kiev Peak, listed on this list of peaks that you can hike and get a patch for, and I was like, what in the world is this? And that's what it is.
And that's what it was.
Yeah.
Well, I tried to drive up there last time I was in Utah, but it was still a little early in the spring and the road was still blocked and closed.
Verlin, you weren't here with your wife the last time you were here.
I was not, but I love going up there and seeing the sunrise and taking a picture. It was not
Verlin.
sunset as was done in the past.
It is not a place you go by yourself, young man. Idle hands are a devil's playground.
If I would have had my motorcycle that I had when I was at BYU, I would have taken the motorcycle around the gate and gone.
Yeah,
up.
you would have. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to do actual articles of news. let me take just a moment to tell you all about bestdjinutah.com. That is the website where you can learn all about me. Oh, sure, you probably feel like you know me, but you know me in the cultural hall sense. I have a DJ company now, 6 of us strong. Great event hosts, MCs, and DJs that can be able to make whatever event you have coming up absolutely spectacular, and hope you will reach out to us. Now you're thinking, well, wait a minute, Richie, I don't live in Utah. Would you travel? Absolutely, I would travel. Would they travel? Absolutely, they would travel. Whatever your event is, doesn't have to be a wedding or a community event. We can do all sorts of things. I can teach you line dancing. I can dance with you. We can do partner dancing. We can do all kinds of things, but we can't do any of it if you don't hit me up. You can go to bestdjinutah.com. You can fill out the form to get more information or get a quote, and then I will get right back to you. Find out why I'm so busy and why sometimes we don't get episodes of the Cultural Hall. It's all because of bestdjinutah.com. Here in the second half of Articles of News, be sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you've not done so yet. Even if you don't watch on the YouTube, it helps us to get to other people. Helps us get to that magic number that then we can start chucking ads at you. And that's what you want, isn't it? More ads. Can we get you more ads, please?
Please, please.
Find the Cultural Hall. Now, you have put on a hat in the break. What is that hat?
That's a good question. I think we should test ourselves and be depressed if no one answers, but contact the Culture Hall to tell me where I got this hat.
It feels very New Mexico-y.
Probably not.
No? Okay.
I'll say no to New Mexico. That's a hint.
Okay. I'm trying to see what it says. State line? What does that say?
The state has been mentioned.
Okay. All right. So apparently maybe for my birthday, I'm going to be asking people to Venmo me for another hat. Where I thought it was, it is not, which doesn't mean I don't have it anymore. But you asked for a hat, and so
yes.
I want to make sure that
you have to deliver.
That I deliver. So hang on.
This is good radio.
I know, listen. So there we are.
No. A classic.
The classic. I got the cheese wedge.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't know why I have this.
Well, what I think is awesome is the cheese wedge has reached that pinnacle of hatdom that anyone is allowed to wear it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right now, if you were an Arkansas football fan, you could wear the crazy Arkansas pig hat. But if you're not an Arkansas fan, wearing the pig hat makes you look ridiculous.
Yeah. Are you attempting to tell me that the cheese hat doesn't look ridiculous?
It doesn't look ridiculous. Anyone can be a Green Bay Packer fan.
Well,
literally.
Sure. Yeah. It doesn't feel good on my head, so I'm going to go ahead and take that.
That's good. Okay.
They have to keep it nice and tight to keep it on there. Man, we've managed to talk about everything but news for a while, so why don't we now take this opportunity to talk about actual articles of news? And I'm going to give us this challenge right after I say, hit it, Peter.
You can't lose articles of news.
And away we go. I want to see how much news we can get into this time, okay?
We did pretty well last go round.
Yeah, and I think we can do pretty well this time.
I think we can too. And we'll actually know what we're talking about and not be guessing at things along the way. Oh my gosh,
I listened to this thing and I just was screaming.
Yesterday I was yelling out loud in my car.
Oh, it's so funny. We don't know what we're talking about. Please stop. Just stop doing this.
I'm not going to say anything about what it was we were listening to. I'm guessing it was the same thing. My wife has given up listening to that particular thing.
Yes, because it's listener, if you'd like to know what we're talking about, it's
one of the reasons I listen to it, because I just know it's going to happen every single time.
Yes. And we're being obscure about it, but
we are.
So there's the people that don't know anything about which they talk, and then there's the two that always will be like, I'll give you an example and tell me if you think this. Just say anything, and I'll show you what I feel like everything on that version of that show.
The weather was mighty fine yesterday.
The weather was mighty fine yesterday. That happens every time so much. I just want to punch myself in the throat and put myself out of my misery.
But it's entertaining for a
Yeah.
specific audience, and I download every single one and listen to it.
Yep. Yep.
To be
Uh,
honest, I've gone to 1.5 speed on them though,
oh
so that I
yeah.
can
No,
get through them quicker.
I'm a 1.8 on
Oh
literally
my
everything I
gosh.
listen to.
Holy
Everything I
smokes.
listen to.
That's awesome. I got to train my ears to do that.
It's it drives my wife crazy, but I listen to a lot of like Ramsey Network stuff. And they put out
Okay.
so much content that I want to be able to get
Yeah.
through it. So anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
um, I want to start here. The Mormon Madoff, Bernie Madoff. If people don't know who that is, think about like probably the most wealthy slash elaborate Ponzi scheme ever. Bernie Madoff, probably.
Yes, absolutely. I think that the most damage done and the most people impacted of any Ponzi scheme in modern history.
Yeah, into the I think with Madoff into the billions of dollars.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this story from People, the People magazine, Andrea Merriman is sharing her story of healing and recovery via the TikTok. She was married to Sean Merriman, who in 2009 came to her and said, "Hey, you know what? I'm leading a double life. I've been running a $20 million Ponzi scheme for over a decade." He was the head of a successful investment company, a bishop at their church, turned himself into federal agents, and then was shortly thereafter imprisoned. The government quickly seized and repossessed all of their assets, most of which were purchased with investors' money. Sean, dubbed the Mormon Madoff, was sentenced to 12 years behind bars. Andrea was quickly left penniless to care for their 4 children, the youngest of whom was 3 at the time. And now she has a TikTok channel and a podcast, and it's a whole thing where she is sharing about what it is like to be married, to be a Mormon person, to trust and love your partner as far as this goes, and then for them to be the pinnacle of the ecclesiastical religious society, and then come to you and be like, it's all a lie. Millions of dollars is what I've been stealing from people, and peace out. I'm going to jail. Good luck.
Amazing, amazing woman to be able to recover from that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to I'm actually going to have to go search her out and
Yeah.
and see some of these TikToks. What caught me a little by surprise is she said they wanted to start over, so they moved where? As far away from Mormondom as possible, right?
Yeah.
They moved to Utah.
Yep. Well, of course.
I'm guessing a large majority of his victims were members of the church as well.
Well, and had to be supported by family, I'm sure.
I would guess so. I would guess so.
You can book Andrea. You can go to AndreaMerriman.com if you want to book her for being a speaker. Maybe she could do your next young women's group. Maybe you could make it a double headliner with Kurt Frankum. Kurt Frankum and Andrea Merriman, bring them both out to
There's a mix.
There it is.
There's a mix. Well, have you interviewed Andrea?
I have not. I want to reach out to her. This sort of just came up on my radar. I've heard of the Mormon Madoff before. I've heard of this guy, Sean Merriman, but
Yeah. I had heard the name. I didn't know all the details. And $20 million, that's a decent sum of money.
Sure. And being that it was 2009 when he went away and it was for 12 years or so, that guy's got to be out now.
Oh, you would think so.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
you could interview him as well.
Get them together. A
Wouldn't that be awesome?
gotcha interview.
Ouch.
There's someone here that would like to say hello. Do you remember that?
Well, sadly, it's not the only Ponzi scheme that's happened in related to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Yeah.
There was a person who was running a similar scheme, but it was all real estate investments, who approached my father.
Oh,
and
no.
my father called me and said, "Hey, Verlin, there's this really interesting real estate investment opportunity a friend of mine is in." And he told me about it, and I said, "Too good to be true."
Yeah.
It is a scam.
They're guaranteeing returns, Verlin, of 500%. You don't want me to be guaranteed.
That's right. And it's beach property in Hawaii. There is nothing, that's going to go down. Anyways, 5 years later, people were arrested.
Jeez.
Yep.
We did an episode about affinity fraud. It's episode 502. You should check that out. Mark Pugsley, I think he's a former member of the LDS Church, or like LDS Church adjacent, lives in Utah. does a bunch of the investigations into that.
Mm-hmm.
So you should check that out.
That was an interesting episode. I
Five.
wonder if there are any updates, if the world of those schemes have changed in the last 10 years with technology and the way things are.
It's all about relationships now.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah, it's the
Verlin, I know you're
multi-level marketing
lonely.
thing.
I know you're lonely. I'm just a pretty young thing. I'd love it if you'd send me money. Well, can we meet? No, Verlin, just send me money.
That's
Okay.
right.
It is.
One day.
That's the huge, yeah, one day we will. Oh, I just need 10,000 more.
Yes.
The plane canceled,
Oh.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's
Yeah.
that. I'm looking forward to getting more information on that and try and get Andrea Merriman. I'm not going to pay her to be on the show.
No,
Love to visit with her.
no.
Love to visit with her. You want to do a couple of serious, not great fun stories?
Yeah, let's do a couple serious. There have been a couple of tragedies in the recent past there in Utah, and we want to express our condolences. Alex Johnson, 38 years old, father of four, recently passed away on a campout, church campout,
Mhm.
and evidently he passed away from carbon monoxide poisoning. Went to bed one night and didn't wake up the next morning.
Yeah.
Family and friends and strangers gathered at the Springville High School baseball field to remember Johnson, who was found dead inside his trailer at Wasatch Mountain State Park. And then another vigil was also held near his home in the vineyard. Lots of family and friends, lots of people impacted by this, not the least of which is his four children. So our hearts and prayers go out for him and his family.
And there is a GoFundMe that has been started for that. But yeah, just a guy likely drawing heat from his Dutch oven. And maybe you don't think about, hey, those coals from the Dutch oven that, that produces carbon monoxide, and you keep yourself in a tight, kind of tight location, and very quickly it's
a tragedy. Yeah. Don't be taking coals of any kind inside any contained space for heat.
Yeah.
Not going to work out well.
And then this story, a 14-year-old girl was struck by a vehicle outside the Lehigh, this also in Utah, rodeo grounds. Her name is Jenna Sharp. She was leaving a school dance.
Church dance, actually.
Church dance, yeah.
Yeah.
Was several congregations, so probably like a region dance is what we used to call them back in the day.
Yeah, regional, or now they'd call them an area or coordinating council dance. Yeah.
She was crossing the street to be picked up by to be picked up and then was struck by a passing car. She was airlifted to Primary Children's Hospital with severe brain injuries, placed on life support. Quote, Jenna is deeply loved by everyone who knows her. She is loyal, kind, spunky, and full of light. She lives with her whole lives with her whole heart, passionate and caring. Her warmth and vibrant spirit have touched so many lives, and passed away. She also, and you can find the links to both of these in our show notes, has a GoFundMe. Those, I believe, are for burial expenses.
Yeah, again, a tragedy. Sound like a wonderful activity turned tragic.
Do you ever, this is just a quick side jaunt, I don't want to get distracted from the news. When you read a story and maybe you don't have any sort of connection, have you ever done the donation where you're like, yeah, I'll also throw some money that way. That story touched my heart.
I have. Yeah.
I've only done it one time, and I'd like to, in the next phase of my life, be more giving to things that when I feel moved to give things like that.
Yeah, that's a great thing to do. I treat it like my mission president in Haiti taught us to treat it. There are GoFundMe's galore. You can't contribute to every single person. You can't give money to every beggar on the street in Port-au-Prince. But if the spirit touches you in the moment, take action, no matter how little it might be.
Yeah, I like that. All right, let's keep going. Where should we go here?
Yeah, well, should we not go to Russia?
Well, I'm just wondering about the temple that was announced with no further information in Russia. It's never going to be built now. We're on the undesirable list.
Yeah, I mean, now the church is not on the undesirable list. The Brigham Young University is now on Russia's undesirable list.
Now, what's the deal with this? Because I know when I shared this on the Facebook page, I like the idea that this list is called the Naughty Comrade, and I want it to be a one sheet piece of paper that gets delivered.
Thinking of a logo too.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. I want it to be called the Naughty Comrade, and every day people are trying to make sure that they're not on the list. Did you see the
For those
latest?
that know the Duluth Trading Company logo with the gentleman standing there, I'm thinking the Naughty Comrade could be somewhat similar.
Yes. We are the same person, just a couple years removed from each
Just
other.
a couple.
Yeah,
Just a couple.
more than a couple.
But yeah, so my understanding is this list is made up of specific organizations where the government of Russia has said these are dangerous organizations to us, and if someone working for or affiliated with these organizations is found in Russia, they can be imprisoned for up to 7, 8, 10 years.
Yeah.
And so the Brigham Young University held a little kind of political science event where they talked about Russia and some of the terrible things going on in Russia. And evidently, somebody in Russia heard about it, and they put the Brigham Young University on the naughty list. My question is it all the Brigham Young universities? If you went to BYU Hawaii or BYU Idaho, or is it just BYU Provo? Do they know?
I love the idea of that. Welcome up. I was gonna try and do a Russian accent, and then I realized I don't quite have that dialed in. It's a little too early. It was gonna go. It was going to go very instantly to the German accent, which
Quite different.
We look here on the list, and you are from the BYU Idaho. That's okay. That's okay. Come on.
That's right. BYU Hawaii, you're okay.
Yeah, yeah, better. Your Russian is better. I can't. You have to think. I always think of from Rocky.
And Rocky and Bullwinkle. Yeah.
No. I always think.
Oh, you're
Rocky
thinking of Rocky
the
4,
movie.
Rocky 5, the movie when he was fighting the Russian.
Drago.
Oh, that's right. It was
Yeah.
Drago. Yeah.
That's how I think of my Russian accent. That's how I get it dialed in. Okay, well, we're on the naughty list. We
are.
We as
Yeah.
Mormons like to be liked, so we'll do something about it, I'm sure.
So it turns out that we were published on the naughty list on February 6th.
Mm-hmm.
And on that same day, BYU had held an event at the David M. Kennedy Center for International Studies called Russia as a Global Threat.
Mm.
And led by Sonata Coulter, the U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary of State who oversees policy toward Russia. So there must be some tight connection between, they must have spies in Provo. That's all that could happen here.
Well, sure.
If they were put on the list the same day.
They have returned volunteers. The one thing that I noted from this article that I didn't know, I knew that we had stopped calling them missionaries and that the ability to proselyte in Russia had diminished, but you could still sort of congregate and they were able to do other things. Now we don't even send missionaries volunteers
Not at all.
or anything
Not at all.
since 2022.
And according to this article, there are still 18,000 members there in 56 congregations. Now, it strikes me that's a lot of members in each congregation.
Yeah, that's
So
a
I'm
lot of
wondering-
people who left sort of hanging.
Yeah, totally. I've heard stories about those that were left hanging in Germany during World War II because the church obviously had to cease sending anyone from outside Germany into Germany. I can only imagine the challenges that these members are having. But I also heard from a cousin who served a mission in Germany not too long after the war, who talked about some of the practices that had crept into the
Oh yeah, when you get
congregations.
distanced, you start to get to do some things because no one's coming to be like, "Hey, you can't do that." What was the
Yeah, so he said people showed up, and on the sacrament table they had candles
thing?
on the sacrament table, and they had a few other things from kind of Orthodox religion had crept in,
Okay.
and they had to carefully get those back out
Sure.
of the religion, which I thought was very interesting. So it'll be interesting to see when Russia opens back up, what that looks like and how we minister to those brothers and sisters there.
A quick Secret Lives of Mormon Wives update. There is going to be a reunion special, just what we've been waiting for, just soon enough to be able to keep the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives in the news and everyone talking about it. It will be streamed on Hulu, alive after the 1st of July. Notably missing from all of the promotional photos is Demi. If you followed any part of the second season, you know that
why.
Yeah, you know why. Here's the thing. It's now, and I was listening to some folks remark about this. the show has now become highly produced for drama, where the first season was maybe not so much that way. Demi was in
In other words,
Disneyland.
more scripted.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Demi was in Disneyland on the day that that whole thing went. They said, "Hey, we've got a day to shoot this thing and come and do these things. Can you come?" And she's like, "I'm in Disneyland with my family." She chose her family first. Isn't it about time? So
Good.
that is why you'll see all the headlines. Why was she not in it? Is she out? Or have we been told? Is this what the thing is? Are we done? That's it.
A little bit of drama. A little bit of drama. So have you seen this guy Daniel Spencer on TikTok and the questions he does?
Only since I saw this article.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because for some reason my Instagram Reels feed has picked up the TikToks from Daniel Spencer.
Okay.
And I have to tell you, I'm a sucker for his TikToks.
Okay, tell me, because people are listening to us going, I have no idea what any of you guys are talking about.
Yeah, so what Daniel has been doing is he started out at Brigham Young University and he would sit down and he'd just grab people as they walk by and say, "Hey, would you mind if I asked you a few questions on camera?" And he would ask them provocative questions, something like, would you rather would you rather take a drink of coffee or run over a puppy?
Yeah, or unlive a puppy, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous things. And what's funny is how many people would tell him they would rather unlive a puppy, or they would say, would you rather have 5 minutes with Joseph Smith or $5 million?
Yep.
And it was funny to watch people's reactions and then, oh, I want 5 minutes with Joseph Smith, and all of these kind of stupid, crazy scenarios. But it was entertaining to me to see people's reactions and then to see some who were smart enough to be funny about their answers and others who were completely sincere about their answers. And
the struggle that I have with it, though, is that I genuinely think that on some of these things, when people are like, well, would you rather go to jail or have a half a cup of coffee? Well, listen, I would go to jail for a year.
yeah,
And I'm a fan of religious conviction. I'm a fan of believing in it, but I think we pitch this idea of like our own Carthage moments or our own,
yes.
these things.
Well,
where
that's
it's like,
exactly why I'm suckered into these things.
yeah,
Because we have as a certain culture and society become so black and white about some things and totally over rotated on when we need to take a stand and when taking a stand may not be the wisest thing.
yeah. Yeah, and the thing, I listened to this thing the other day about the idea of, and that's not what this is, just so everyone is, it's sort of adjacent to this, but talking about how, like, when we repent, we're talking about, repenting for actions that we've done that have been transgressions, and that it's a little bit not less, that's not the right way to put this because people will all automatically reject what I'm about to say, but it's this idea of like, in life, you will make mistakes. And that's a little different as far as repenting goes, rather than knowingly choosing to do wrong. And I thought that was an interesting perspective on, on this thing. So like, for instance, I'm faced with a work decision and I make a choice and then I realize, oh, I could have had more integrity as far as this goes or something like that. Learning opportunity, sure, maybe an opportunity to repent a little bit about it. That would be a thing.
Yeah.
And then an entirely other thing would be faced with a decision, know what the right decision is, clearly make the wrong decision. That's kind of more of the transgression, less the mistake.
Yeah. I mean, the scriptures say every sin is sin, right?
Sure.
But the Lord understands. He understands the circumstances better than even we do.
Yep.
We can repent from any sin.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the doctrine. I think this is somewhat ridiculous because if someone came to me and said, you either have to take a shot of vodka, which, by the way, I've never intentionally drank alcohol in my life.
Sure.
I've only unintentionally drank alcohol twice, one on my mission. Different story for a different time. But if someone said you have to take a shot of vodka or Susan will be unlived,
Oh yeah, geez,
then
of
I'm
course.
taking a shot of vodka. I don't care. I'm not going to take a stand on the word of wisdom for that purpose.
But
So
you will be rewarded with mansions on high if you. No, of course, you're taking the shot of
yeah,
vodka.
yeah. In that mansion on high, Susan's going to throw me out of the window of
Yep.
that mansion on high is what she's going to do. So
How dare you come into my mansion?
yeah,
Uh, this I think is sort of interesting. We are as much as we do this, and we used to be more like this. We aren't as much anymore, but I can remember having these yelling conversations on my mission about numbers,
yeah.
about how yeah, listen,
Do they matter?
yeah, we even had the old
Records
missionary
recorded in
guide.
heaven by the angels, the numbers count.
Sure,
Yeah,
but the old missionary guide that it was like for people before Preach My Gospel, it was this book that you had to study, and it had these scenarios where it's like Verlin is discussing with his companion about the work for the next day. Uh, when he's talking about the work that's progressing, he could A, talk about the minds and the hearts and how they've been changed as they approach the gospel. B, talk strictly about the numbers and base it, solely on how he appears to, like it was these examples that were just so blatantly, of course it's
so
A,
polar
of course
opposite.
it's
Yeah.
C. It's like we used to have for the primary manuals as well. Um, we we would report, and I'm sure you did too, Elder Youd.
Every
Uh,
week.
yeah. How many first discussions did you have this week? How many second discussions did you have this week? How many Book of Mormons did you place?
How many investigators did you add to your investigator pool? How many
Right,
are in your teaching pool? How
right.
many baptismal challenges did you give this
Yeah,
week?
all the
Yeah.
things.
Hmm.
And we try and keep it in focus because there's sometimes things that you can't do about it, and also in most times I would say the bigger picture is like, are you trying your best and the best looks different, or the circumstances
That's
could
right.
be whatever. So when I see stories like this, that Arizona youth complete 3,226 proxy baptisms in just 7 weeks, I think, well, that's incredible. What a cool thing that these youth have done.
Hmm.
What a fun challenge. And I also hope slash pray that it's not a thing where the Utah youth go, well, Arizona did 3,226, so we've got to do 3,227, and we've got, or whatever the thing may be, that then we start to make it less about, the people or the
Yeah.
saving ordinance, and we make it more about the numbers. What, you only had one? Yeah, I had one transformational experience in the temple. Well, it wasn't 3,226. Come on.
What I do love here is they used a little bit of friendly competition, kind of natural tension between the young women and young men of a ward, and
Sure.
issued a challenge. Who can do the most?
Sure.
And so they motivated people to go along. And I think that's positive to the point that it becomes no longer positive.
Yep.
If, like you said, someone else says, "Oh, they did 3,226, our ward's going to do 3,227,"
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And it becomes one-upmanship, right?
Uh,
On
I,
my
I
mission, I was really lucky. My mission president for the vast majority of my mission, I'm going to say this now, and he really could care less about the numbers. We had to report them, but it was like, okay, report the numbers. Now let's talk about what really went on. How are you doing?
yeah.
Right? It was, the numbers meant nothing to him, and it was wonderful.
There was a short time while I was on my mission where the call went like this. Are you guys doing relatively what you're supposed to be doing? Like, just don't wreck your car, okay? And and don't get anyone pregnant. And also, like, there was a short period, a 3-month period while I was serving, that it was wheels off.
Oh, that's funny.
It
That's
was
funny.
insane because we had one mission president and then had another and then lost that one and then had to have another that was only temporary, and it was missionaries packing up their apartments and leaving the keys under the seat and calling the mission president telling them, "Hey, we flew home, we're out of here." Like,
Wow.
I've
Wow.
got a girlfriend in the mission and I'm pretty sure she's pregnant. And then that elder ends up moving back out there 6 weeks later when he's gone home. And then
Yep.
he's the ward mission leader in your ward. Like it was,
Oh my
it was
gosh.
insanity for a while. That it really was just like,
Oh,
will you please just try and just be a little less stupid,
yeah,
please?
just be
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
We had my first mission president, bless his heart. He lived on a different island, so he came to our island once every 2 months for a
Oh,
weekend.
geez,
That was
geez.
it. And so the missionaries were kind of running on their own. We had our own APs on our island. When the new
Okay.
mission president came in, he went and interviewed every single missionary.
Mm-hmm.
And we all got together afterwards and talked, of course, like missionaries do. And
Sure.
he asked every single missionary the same two questions to end his interview.
Okay.
The first question he asked was, when was the last time you went swimming?
Ooh.
It wasn't, have you ever? It was,
Uh-huh.
when was the last
Yeah.
time? And the number two question, when was the last time you masturbated?
Really?
Yeah, those were the two questions he
Oh my
asked
gosh.
everybody. No
Oh
one got
my
sent
gosh.
home,
Wow.
um, but he just wanted to understand where everyone was in those two spheres of behavior. So,
Jeez. Jeez.
yep.
There's jokes I want to make, but they're not appropriate, so I'll just leave them to myself.
I'll just say that several missionaries had to resell their scuba gear.
Yeah, right? But they did what? See the quote about the devil being on the water, I think that comes out of Ohio. I want to
It's
say
from the Missouri River. It was actually part of our Come Follow Me study last week.
it was the on the Missouri River
It
that
was
there
on
was
the
a quote
Missouri
on the
River.
okay. Okay.
Hmm.
For some reason I thought it was on
Yeah.
Lake Erie as the saints were
Har
coming from one
Harley
part
P.
to another.
Pratt had the vision of the destroyer on the waters, and the revelation came back that the devil had responsibility or power over the waters. It turns out for that specific day and that specific location, nowhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so all of this mythology about the devil has power over the water. I grew up in the water, on the water,
Mm-hmm.
almost every single day of my life.
Mm-hmm.
That is my happy place, is in the water. And if the devil has power over the waters, then I guess I'm in trouble.
Well, then he has power over you.
That's right.
There was a story you wanted to get to, so I want to make sure that we leave just a moment to be able to get to that. I also want to just share a couple of very, 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 very quick things. The church put out a thing that said, "Hey, we've got a date set for the new hymnal. The new hymnal will have 375 hymns." And so you open up the thing and you go, "Oh my gosh, I'm ready. What date?
It's
What
coming. It's
date is it?
coming.
It's coming. We know it's inevitable. It's here. It's not. They didn't even give a season of 2027.
Sometime in 2027.
I think they say mid 2027.
And what is mid?
Right, right. What I mean that yeah. I just
The hymn book and the Salt Lake Temple, the two dates that continue to move.
yeah.
I don't know what's so hard about the hymn book. The 1985 hymn book, I had a good mission companion whose mother was on the committee. They spent several years putting it together, and then they published a new hymn book.
Yeah.
The green hymn book replaced the blue and black hymn book.
Yeah. I mean, it will clearly have something to do, to your point, with the temple. The cultural hall, by the way, gonna be doing guided tours in Salt Lake during the temple open house. I'm gonna lean into this in a hard way. Daytime going around. If you want a tour guide, it's paid. I'm not doing this thing for free, but if you would like an in-depth, I'm gonna develop a couple different tours, take you around. You're here to see the temple and you want to see some other things. We're gonna do the see the other things kind of stuff. I'm working on it. It is
Nice.
an iron in the fire,
Nice.
but
Okay.
it's still mid is not a date. That's not a date set.
No, it's not. Put a date in place. Be like a real product development organization. Put a date in place and run against that date and deliver
Yes.
on that date.
Yes. And then lastly, you had a story you wanted to get.
I did. It's a sweet story. There's a project in Papua New Guinea where the church has been working with several other organizations there to put solar lights in place so that after the sun goes down, people can have light. This sounds very simple, right? It sounds
Yeah.
very basic. What's the big deal? This is a huge deal because when the sun goes down, people can't read, they can't study, they can't do anything. Kids can no longer do homework. You put lights in someone's home after the sun goes down, you open a whole new world to them in terms of being able to read and write and learn and enjoy time as a family. Think about reading the scriptures together. Now you have a solar light you can do that with. And I'm particularly touched by this because, again, on my mission in Haiti, power was not something that was reliable, and many communities didn't have any. And the street lights would go on at night in the cities that did have power, and literally dozens of kids would gather under the street lights and sit on the ground and do their homework.
Oh, wow.
And so to have this kind of light in individual homes with a simple technology like solar is game changing. It's huge. And so I'm glad that the church is doing this. They've helped assemble these kits. They transport the kits. They sent it to an isolated community called Gavone of about 2,000 people in the Gulf of Popa. And at a ceremony just here last month, the kits were distributed to students at the primary school, and every student at the school received a Solar Buddy kit.
Jeez,
many immediately opened their lights and began charging them under the bright sun.
Well, and the gospel principle of letting your light shine and sharing light, just super cool. Symbolic.
Absolutely.
And I almost said realistic, but symbolic and the tangible light that changes lives.
That's right. And you interviewed someone who's talked a lot about the power of light and the spiritual physics of light, Dr. Aaron Franklin.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, sir, I hope that this episode has nourished and strengthened your body.
And if you weren't healthy enough to...
It's gone. He's gone. He's not healthy.
If you're not healthy enough to listen this week, you'll be healthy enough to listen next week.
And that when the time comes, you will be able to travel home in safety. In the meantime, go Tar Heels. Chris at Alpine Lakes Travel, Debbie Wanless, Chocolate Cake Bites Podcast, and the Tiger with a U will be saving a seat for you
on the back row
of
the Cultural Hall.
Save me a seat, it's sure to be neat on the back row. We really gotta go on the Cultural Hall show.